The reason you're not seeing any progress in your life, right, year on year, is because what you're essentially doing is doing small mini like 90-day sprints where you work really hard for a very small amount of time, probably not even 90 days, we're probably talking 2 weeks, and then you'll procrastinate for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Next quarter rolls around, 6 months are left of the year, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to run it up again. You're going to go for a couple more weeks, flimsy, just not really getting anywhere. And by the end of the year, you wouldn't have made that much progress. And the reason is because you've been doing things the way you would have done things at school. Okay. At school, when we had an exam, yeah, what would you do? You would go ahead, you'd wait to the last minute when the revision should have been done or X work should have been completed, and you would have went ahead and you would have tried to cram every single piece of information in the last week, for example. Week if we're talking uni, right? If we're talking school, we're talking like night before, right? So you've gone ahead, you've crammed all this information in, yeah? And then come exam day, if you were naturally quite smart, you might have done all right? You might have been able to retain the information prior and you might have done well. But if I was to ask you today, if you know anything that you revised, your answer is going to be no, right? And the key lesson in that is the way that we go about doing things back in the day would have been wrong, and that reflects in our adult life. So I was watching a video about memory the other day, right? I think I mentioned it roughly in another video as well. But basically in this video, and it was based on a scientific study, they showed that if you went ahead and did what was called cramming, right, which is like when you cram information for an exam, your long-term ability to retain any of that information was almost zero. Okay, so you spending a very hyper-focused period on getting something done would lead to poor results in the outcome. And in fact, the better way to actually do things, to get better at things, is to do it in very small amounts, almost daily. So I think I mentioned this in another video about they would test people based on a set of words, like a set of 30 words. They would ask someone to maybe spend an hour trying to memorize the words the prior day or the prior night versus the person who would practice memorizing them daily for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Essentially, our ability to do something on a consistent basis essentially proves better results. Now, apply this to everything that you do in life, right? Whether it's the business that you're trying to do or whatever you're trying to get better at, everyone goes for these sort of like small little sprints, right? When we want to actually have a marathon mindset when it comes to this sort of thing, we want to think about progression as something as simple as just getting 1% better every single day. And that means having a bit of a longer term mindset, because unfortunately, because of social media, we all want to be rich tomorrow. We want to be rich in 30 days, and 60 days, 90 days. When in reality, look, some people are going to do it, right? Good, all great, happiness to them, right? I don't know what I was trying to say there, but good for them, right? Realistically, you need to build skills over time, right? That is the most important thing out of every single thing out there. It's just building skills over time, right? I'll give you an example. I was editing a video the other day. I had no idea how to edit this video. It took me hours, right? I was trying to learn some sort of like new techniques, and I was trying to mimic this one video, and I was trying to learn each individual thing on how to do it. Now, part of my mind was thinking, you know what? I actually have the ground information that I've practiced over like multiple years, that I can actually even understand what half this shit means, right? Number one. But number two, this video took me hours to make, right? But now when I go and make it multiple times, maybe I've made 20 of these videos, right? My ability to make them is going to be a lot better. My attention to detail, the flow of the video, or my ability to make impressive, let's say, content, or this video that I was making, it's going to improve drastically. But it's not going to improve drastically after one sitting, you know. These things take time. It's almost like if you play like a musical instrument, right? It takes time to learn the keys, to understand how the music flows. if you look at all the greats, like if we go back through history and we look at professional artists or famous artists or musicians, these people have spent hours on their craft, hours and hours and hours, more hours than you could even comprehend. And that's given them the ability to produce something magical. So you want to start thinking a bit more even in decades, right? I know that sounds disgusting for our generation because everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be, if you're like 22, you're going to think, oh my God, I'm going to be 32. Like, it's horrible. But you need to think in longer periods, right? In years, in 5 years, in 3 years. For example, if you want to get good at business, sales, anything, just think in a bit of a longer term scenario. Even gym, right? Gym's a great one. It's like when I first started the gym, I was really, really, really skinny, and I really didn't want to be skinny anymore. So that insecurity made me want to train really hard, and it just made me want to put on the weight instantly, right? But it wasn't till I formulated a plan, properly sort of figured out my macros, my calories, my gym routine, and then just stuck at it for like a year and a half straight. Until then, I didn't make any progress, right? And now, for example, the gym is just like a staple in my routine for the last like 4 years, let's say. So just remember that it's all about gradual improvement. I think that's probably the biggest issue today, is just people think or have this expectation of now. Everything's gonna be now. My 8th video is gonna blow up, right? But if you can start to think in multiple years, you'll become very dangerous, right? You will be able to achieve those things that you want to achieve. I can't remember the exact saying. It's a proper cliche saying. It's like you underestimate what you can achieve in like 1 year, or you overestimate what you can achieve in like 1 month. So the shorter time period, we think we can do more. In the longer time period, we can't even fathom how far we could progress, right? So next time you do have a goal, next time you are focusing on something, just be sure to just break it up into multiple steps. Try and figure out what is it that can drive me forward right now. What is it do I need to learn? What do I need to gain? What knowledge do I need to learn? Who do I need to learn from? Just think about it from that perspective, and you'll be way better off in the future.